What's up, everybody? It's your favorite part in the music where the music goes away, at least the instrumental portion of it, and all you're left with is the drums. Favorite nerd, and today we are looking at breakdown. You get it? Because the music breaks. Look, I like to see any of you try to make a better joke about the name, alright? But this is the Montana, as in... or
Antonio Montana.
And of course that was the push version, not the original terrible one. That's neither here nor there. I bought this from the good folks at GCI. Shout out to them, and a link will be in the description. Good customer service, good prices, good people. What more could you ask for? Now if he could just keep himself out of Facebook jail, all would be right with the world. It does come with two accessories, let's talk about them. There's this gun. It's all sorts of blue. This thing folds down so we can hold it. And there's some sculpt work, no paint. We do have this pin, like these two pins, and they're like, I'm guessing the male-female variety, which sometimes leads to disastrous ends, but for right now it's holding up well. It plugs into the top of his car, but it's mighty tight, tight like a tiger, because of the paint around the edges. So be careful, the juice may not be worth the squeeze. He holds it with tension, but it's a little loose. And this thing, which I don't know what it is. Gimmicks wise, in spite of its size, it can go in the back of Optimus Prime's trailer on the MP10. The door is open, and the headlights do pop up. Now I know this is more of a size comparison than a gimmick, but I believe that we can all say that this has become quite the gimmick here. So it's what we call a twofer in the business. And there it is larger. We know this, that's a hot topic. We're definitely going to address that more, but there you can see how much larger it is. As for the car mode itself, it rolls like a champ. Rubber tires, silver paint. We have tons of paint throughout. However, with that comes a bit of an issue, and that issue is that the whites don't always match up, which is a bummer. And to be fair, neither do the blues. However, the whites are a lot more noticeable than the blues. Everything is lined up fairly well, though, in terms of the paint, like the accent there on the hood and all of the stuff around here. There's a lot of panel breaks, and the paint is applied fairly well. Little touch and go at places around some of the edges, but it's a small price to pay, in my opinion, for what ends up being a fair amount of paint added to this unit. We got brake lights and such on the back. The reverse lights or backup lights are painted silver, but I suppose that's okay. And then down here, the same for the headlights. Ton of paint, ton of it. And it's heavy, rolls well, so it's huge. That's going to be an issue for some people. We're going to talk about that more. I gotta tell you, I'm almost giddy, and it's not because of the toy, although we'll get there as well, but it's more so because I just haven't done a review in a while, so it's nice to do it, especially one that I've bought. So, yeah, look, I don't have any issues with this in car mode. The size, I know, is going to be a big, I can already read the comments. I already know it's bigger! I know it! We all know it! You don't have to tell me in the comments that it's too big. We know it. In terms of combined mode, I'm not exactly sure how it's gonna go, but I do see a couple places that look like they might tab in somewhere. This piece flips down. Who knows, maybe this thing is even involved somehow. I'm not sure, but I imagine that it's just gonna go on Minosaur's leg. Let's get this puppy transformed. Undo the back bumper from the back of the vehicle. You're gonna wanna pull back and push down in order to get this piece in its proper place. It's not a great feeling, but it's definitely doable. Flip down the bumper, spin it about a quarter of the way up, 180. Collapse the lower piece into the vehicle, collapse the upper piece into the middle, fold the entire assembly against the windshield. Bring these two pieces down and this side piece out on both sides. Spin this piece around on the ball peg, same on the other side. Take the side panel here, flip it out, and then flip it up. Same for the other side. Flip it out, flip it up. Swivel these blue pieces around to the inside on both legs. Take your foot, loosen the connection, and then fold it around. Spin the foot, open up the heel spur on both sides. Spin it around, open up the heel spur. Connect this blue flap to this blue flap, utilizing those pegs, and then this peg on the tinted window inside the calf. Same for the other side. Flap 1, flap 2. Flip these two pieces inward on his backpack. Rotate the waist 180 degrees. Flip up this small piece in his back. which will allow you to move the legs down, re-secure that piece, swivel below the knee on both sides 180. For this next step, I suggest loosening this connection here a bit in the upper blue piece, loosening this connection between the two white sections, and then rotating the shoulders down and bringing this out. Lift the hood up, break the connection in the front bumper, spin it 180, and have it sit up against the side. For the other piece, you want to rotate it up and then collapse it down. Let's show that one more time on the other side. Lift up the hood, separate the bumper, spin the one piece 180 against the back, bring the other piece up and push it down. Sometimes the first couple times that you do push it down, it's going to be a little tight. Just keep at it, Springer, my boy. Extend the arm, rotate the forearm until the piece here with the slot is in line with the screws. This will make it so the tab on the top of the hood, top of the morning, will also peg into the bumper, and then you can flip the hand out and close the other flap. Same on this side. Extend the arm, adjust the forearm so that the tab, the open slot there, lines up with the screws. This will put the hood in a position where the tab on the hood can slide into the slot on the bumper. Flip the hand out, close the hood. Rotate the shoulder so that this peg is facing up, at which point you can rotate the entire shoulder assembly in while bringing the other part of the shoulder down for a clean look. You're gonna want to do that times 2 max. Adjust the arms so that they make anatomical sense. Flip the head up, spin it around, put the chest back in place, lift the front part of the torso up. So let's have a look. And I'm telling you, you're going, it's surprising how much paint is on this fella. They went for it. So the head is on a ball peg, which is a bit of a bummer in my opinion. I'm also not 100% crazy with the head sculpt. I'm not sure what it is exactly. Maybe it's a little wide down at the bottom, like that angular look. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure if I care for it as much. The red paint and then the eyes are painted maybe a little too light, but everything is painted and it looks great in terms of the finish. Articulation's fine. Limited up, a good limited down because the helmet. You do get the swivel, a little bit of attitude and stuff, so that's fine. The shoulders are on a hinge at the base of the chest and then a universal joint at the shoulder itself. Using both, you can get the arm almost straight up in the air. You can get the arm straight out to the side. You can get the arm all the way around, out to the side, no problem. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, get you the full run. You do get a number of paint accents from car mode that come through and break it up a little bit. I'm okay with that. The hinge on the wrist is interesting. I think I like it. You get the hinge in, out, then you get the swivel. Obviously no up, down. The fingers are on a base pin knuckle. The bottom 3 are one piece, and then the top one, the trigger finger one, is one. And then the thumb is on its own hinge, which gets you out and in. Obviously it has tight rider syndrome, so that's a bit of a bummer, but it is there. You have a waist swivel. You have an ab crunch, so that's nice. You have this silver that looks great. Like the stuff really, the accents really come through. I will give it that. You have a gap right there. That might be a problem for some. It's not necessarily one for me, but I know how people are. You have universals for hips. It's a soft, very soft ratchet out to the side. It's going to get you way more than the Van Damme. And then if you lift up this hip skirt, unfortunately, you can get far out to the front and you can get back to about there. You have a thigh swivel that's a bit limited, built into the universal, but you also get one below the knee. Utilizing both, you should be fine regardless, and theoretically, you really wouldn't need the other one. This one should be fine. I do have right here, where else? Inside there, I have a fair amount of paint smudging. So there is a lot of paint on this guy. Sometimes it comes with the territory. There's also screws here, visible screws. I know that can be an issue for some as well, so I'm going to point that out. Single hinge knee, but it gets you 90 degrees, so no issues there. Tons of paint detailings and such come through in the legs. I'm okay with all of that. Ankles, you have a heel spur. The feet are die cast. Well, at least this piece is. This piece is plastic. So you get an ankle tilt up, but this stuff does have a tendency to also come undone a bit. You do get an ankle tilt up. It is fairly limited. You do get an ankle tilt down. That works a bit better. This hinge does stop here on the toe. If it moved forward, it would have helped with that ankle tilt and the way you could position it. And then you get an ankle rocker as well. You also get the heel spur. You can angle that in order to get the position you need as well. Whew. So that's this guy in a nutshell. There he is from the back. I'll be honest with you, I like him a great deal, but he's far from perfect. Let's do some size comparisons, we'll do some final thoughts, and get out of here. There he is with Megatron. Some people are going to be very upset about that height. That height actually really works for me. Scale is in the eye of the beholder usually, and this one is no different. There he is with a few more breakdowns, and I gotta say, while I think all three of these are good, seeing them side by side, I do prefer the white over the crack rock beige. I'm still not mad at this figure at all. This is a great figure. But seeing them side by side, I think I do prefer the white. And I guess we'll throw him in as well. Now, this is the last thing I wanted to show, because this is the scale combiners that I want, and they're about head to head. So this is another aspect that makes me okay with the size of this figure, because my main concern with this guy is how the size is going to work out. I've made it abundantly clear that the scale that I prefer is the Toy World Devi, and I want everything to kind of be in line with that. Now, Fans Toys is coming too, of course, and that looks to be in this scale as well. So it does seem as though I have a couple options, but either way, that's something that doesn't make me angry at this size. Final thoughts wise, let's start with the negatives. I know the size is going to be a negative for a lot of people. I know the fact that Fans Toys has something coming is going to be a negative for a lot of people. I'm not going to compare the Fans Toys one to this because the Fans Toys one isn't out. If you're waiting on Fans Toys, I totally understand that approach, but it's not really relevant. I am 100% okay with this size. I'm okay with it for a number of reasons. For one, the size has always been inconsistent in the cartoon. And as I've always said, I definitely believe the scale is in the eyes of the beholder. So a lot of times it's about what feels right to you. Secondly, if it makes the combiner larger and proportionately more impressive, then I'm also all for it. But let me move on to criticisms that are actually mine and not defending the criticisms that aren't. And those are the following. The ankles are a little wonky, and I wish I could get a better range out of most of them, and I wish they were a little less fiddly. Speaking of fiddly, the way that all the panels cling and clamp together on the bottom portion of the legs often causes it to undo itself. I wish the waist flap wasn't one consecutive piece where you had to move the whole thing in order to get the articulation. I wish there was stronger hardware in the knees and the hips, because he does have a little bit of a floppiness to him. It's not extreme, but it's something that needs to be noted. It's not perfect in the hardware department, by far. Positives wise, there's plenty of paint. Unfortunately, one thing I need to mention in the negatives, which I forgot to, was that paint causes a few tolerance issues and a little bit of a smudging issue. But there is lots of it, and it does look great as a result of it. The articulation is fantastic, and as you can see, it's easy to get him into poses that are unique, dynamic, and interesting. The engineering is amazing. It's fun to do, it's intuitive, it pays off, it's not frustrating, and it's unique. The sculpt work I enjoy on 90% of it, cleans up like a champ, and has a strong presence. So it is a recommend from me. Just be aware of the negative. I have to say that I think the X-Transbots is built better, but there are things that I enjoy about this over the X-Transbots as well. There's no definitive winner here yet, and I don't think there will be one until it's combined. And even then, who knows? So thanks again to the good folks at GCI. That link is in the description. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.